Hey listeners, it's Kara, your host. After 176 amazing episodes and hundreds of book recommendations, I wanted to make it a little bit easier for you to find your next great read. The Bookish Lights Roadmap is your guide to all 175 podcast episodes, sorted by genre so you can quickly find the stories that fit your reading mood. From picture books to adult novels and everything in between, it's the perfect way to explore past episodes and discover new favorites. You can find your copy of the Bookish Lights Roadmap at www.bookishlights.com/read/roadmap, or just click the link in the show notes. Hi, I'm Kara Infante, and this is Bookish Flights, a podcast where we tell our stories through our favorite books. Each episode features a bookish guest where we will talk about reading, life, and the seasons we're in, all through a thoughtfully paired book flight of recommendations for you. If you're looking for meaningful book recommendations and a space to slow down, you're in the right place. Hey friends, it's Kara. You're getting just me today because I have had a question that has been nagging in the back of my mind for the past month that I've been digging into, and that is, what makes someone a reader? So if you don't know this about me, before I became a podcaster, I was actually a physical therapist, and one of the favorite parts of my job wasn't just helping someone feel better in their daily lives, it was understanding them, figuring out where their pain was, how it affected them day to day, what they wanted to get back to, and most importantly, I wanted to know what was going to motivate them to make the changes necessary to feel better every day. Because let's be honest, seeing me for 1 hour a week in a PT clinic wasn't going to be the ultimate fix. Real progress for them happened outside the clinic. It's for when they showed up for themselves every single day through the small, consistent changes and choices that they were making. Doing their home exercise programs, adjusting their postures, changing their habits, and slowly building a healthier lifestyle once they understood what was going on in their body. It was these little habits, these small choices that we are all making. And let's be honest, I'm a patient of myself too, realizing that I needed to stick to them consistently to actually feel better. I was constantly curious about how I could make my patients understand they needed to do this and also to understand myself. So I dug into the research of what makes someone a reader because reading has always been my favorite hobby. It's how I relax, it's how I learn, it's how I've connected with people through our transient military lifestyle, and it has been my constant companion throughout the years. As a mom of 3, this question might also be a little bit selfish for me too, because I want to know what will make my kids love reading. I don't want it to feel like an assignment. I want them to see the possibility of reading. So I started digging into the research. I am fascinated by the stats if you don't already know this about me. So what does the science say that makes someone a reader? The great part is as I've been looking at study after study, I realized this wasn't actually just about books or literacy or comprehension and how good of a reader you are. It actually has to do with habits, about the environment you create, and what you can get out of reading. I've broken this down into 4 parts, so let's dig in. Number 1, readers are not made by the pressure. They are actually made by the pleasure. One of the strongest findings across literacy research is that the biggest predictor of becoming a lifelong reader wasn't the reading ability. It was actually the enjoyment. Kids and us adults who associate reading with a sense of pressure, performance, or obligation are far less likely to choose to do so in later life. Think about it. How many books did you truly love because they were assigned school reading? For many of us, reading became something we had to do to finish the assignment instead of something that we actually wanted to do. But when you're choosing that book for yourself, it's a completely different experience. Because when you find a book that you love and completely hooks you, the experience is different. If you're like me, you might be wandering around the house with a book just because you have to know what happens next. You might stay up late because you have to read just one more chapter. Or if you have a few free minutes, you go sneak a couple of pages in. Reading suddenly feels like escape, joy, simply a moment for you in our ever busy days. And that's the feeling we want to cultivate. One of my favorite ways to do this with my own kids is at night. As long as they stay in bed with their book, they are allowed to stay up reading with their book light or flashlight, whatever you have, and they can stay up as late as they would like. And obviously, this is within reason, but it is a win for both of us. They think they are getting away with something by staying up late, and I get them to read a few more pages. Number 2, we become what we see. I have learned this lesson as a parent many times over, that it does not matter what I say to my kids. I can say it till I'm blue in the face and 100 times over, but unless I'm actually modeling the behavior, they are not going to do it. There's no meaning behind my words, and there's absolutely no sticking power because I am not doing it myself. Children, or us as adults who regularly see other adults reading, are much more likely to become readers themselves. That doesn't mean you have to have a whole library in your house. You can go grab a stack of books at your library, but it means letting your kids see you reading when you're bored, not doom scrolling, not picking up the phone mindlessly. And think about it. How often when you're sitting at a restaurant do you notice that if someone picks up the phone at your table, you have the urge to do it too? Or you see a whole group of people sitting around the table on their phones as well. When you see someone else doing the behavior, you are much more likely to do it too. So make books a part of your everyday life, and your kids will too. Number 3, environment beats motivation. Number 3, environment beats motivation. This one immediately reminded me of being in the physical therapy clinic because I would say this all the time. We often think that motivation comes first, and it actually doesn't. It's the environment around us. What I mean by this is that if your resistance bands I assigned you for your home exercise program are buried in your bag from our visit, you're not going to use them. If your walking shoes are tucked away in your closet, you're probably not even going to think about doing a walk. Reading works the same way. Research consistently shows that having access to the item or the habit is going to drive your behavior. You read when books are visible, available, and easy to reach. James Clear talks a ton about this in his book, Atomic Habits. A habit you want to create has to be seen. And this applies to way more than books. If you are anything like me and you have stacks of books around your house, I think we might have been onto something. So let there be a stack of books on your coffee table, bookcases in every room of your house, a book that you carry around with you everywhere, because this is what matters for your kids. If reading feels like something you have to go find, you're not going to do it. If it's there, you are much more likely to reach for it. And one other topic we've talked briefly about on the show is don't underestimate boredom. Sometimes the best thing we can do for our kids is to leave the book within reach and allow our kids enough quiet time to discover them on their own. And lastly, number 4, choice matters. If there's one takeaway I want to shout from the rooftops, this applies to adults and children alike. I find for adults, many of us say, we should be reading this or we should be reading that. And I can't tell you how many times I have been burned by a book that I felt that I should be reading. Whether it was a hyped book on Bookstagram, whether it was a classic that everybody told me that I should pick up. We all start to learn, right, as readers, that we have trusted sources. And I mean trusted sources in the sense that you know you have similar book tastes. And so I have a few friends that I would call my trusted sources because every time they hit me with a recommendation, I know I'm going to love it. Other times, it's my choice, right? I see the cover, the pretty cover, it draws me in. I usually go into books blind. You do not have to do that. But I always tell listeners, start with what draws you in, whether it's the cover, whether it's reading the blurb on the back. You do not need to read what someone else is reading. Read what you want. Now, we need to also apply this to our children because I have been guilty as well of trying to nudge my daughter to read more chapter novels because she flies through graphic novels. We go to the library and she'll read 4 graphic novels in a day, and we just cannot keep enough books in the house for the amount that she reads. But when I let her choose them, that's what she loves, and she'll spend hours doing it without me even asking her. So choice matters here. The goal isn't finishing the classic. The goal is becoming someone who loves to read. So for all of us, read what makes you curious, read what excites you, and read what you love. So let's put it all together. If you're hoping to become a reader or you're hoping to raise one, I think the research gives us a pretty simple roadmap. Number 1, make reading enjoyable. Number 2, let people or your kids see you choosing to read. Model the behavior. Number 3, have books easily accessible. And number 4, embrace the choice. What I find so encouraging after digging into all of this research is that it's built through small, consistent choices that we repeat day after day. So maybe this is your week where you choose to pick up a book for 10 minutes before bed and leave your phone outside of the room. Maybe it's taking you or your kids to the library to grab a stack of books to have handy. Or maybe it's carrying a book with you everywhere you go, because when you have 5 to 10 minutes, you can always sneak in a few pages. Whatever it is for you this week, don't underestimate it, because you are creating a daily habit through your choices. One chapter, one story, and one small choice at a time. If you'd like a little accountability, we do have a podcast book club, and our fall lineup is up. You can head on over to bookishflights.com/read/fall 2026 or click the link in the show notes, and you can find out all of the books that we're reading this fall together with our monthly meetings. You just need to register at the Zoom link. It's completely free to you, but that will allow you to join us. The author also joins us for the meetings, so you will be interviewing them alongside me. We'd love to have you join us this fall. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. As Emma Thompson said, I think books are like people in the sense that they'll turn up in your life when you most need them. Cheers to you, dear readers. Until next time.